It is Wednesday, the 23rd of May 2018, and we are live from a chair hidden deep in the forest of the US and our super comfy couch somewhere in the Netherlands. We present you the Steem Radio Show on MSP Waves. So fasten up your steam belts and enjoy the ride. My name is Poetic Snake, and as always, I am joined by my amazing co-host, Main Event. Good evening, Main Event. Are you with us?
Good evening, Snekky. How are you doing?
I am doing slithering fine, and you?
I'm doing great. And once again, welcome everybody here to the Steem Radio Show here on MSPWaves Radio. Great to have you all here with us. Those of you who are here in the live audience, great to have you all here. So, welcome.
Yes, welcome everybody who is listening. It's a beautiful evening here, and I hope everybody is enjoying their day as well.
Somebody said I sounded a little quiet, so I just turned up my mic. So hopefully it's a little better now.
Yeah, is it like 10 centimeters higher now?
Yes, I am getting over a cold, so I apologize. So it's probably just my voice is a little bit, not as where it should be, but I apologize for that. But we are here. It is, as Snekky said, it's May 23rd, 2018. And this is the Steem Radio Show. And what this show is about is we bring on different people from the Steem community, from people who are using the Steem blockchain, the Steemit website. Perhaps they are witnesses, perhaps they're content creators, maybe they're brand new, maybe they've been here for 2 years. You never really know who's going to be on the show. And it's certainly a lot of fun, isn't it, Snekky, hearing all the different stories?
Absolutely. Not only because I have this thing for voices and accents, but it brings a deeper meaning for me, at least, to the Steemit experience so far. Every story is different, so every interview is going to be different, and yeah, I really enjoy that.
And we have at least 2 guests this week, possibly 3. So stick around. We're going to be here for the next 2 hours chatting here with you. And you can chat along with us on Discord. We are in the Peace, Abundance, Liberty server, which is the home of the Minnow Support Project and MSPWaves Radio. So you can chat with us live right now during the show. Just join us on Discord. We're in the MSPWaves audience chat room. And if you, for some reason, or if you're listening maybe on mspwaves.com, I'm not sure if there's a link to that channel there or not, but you can always find it on one of our Steem blogs as well, where we post about the show. There's always usually links in there. So find your way around, but find us in that chat room, and feel free to ask questions throughout the show. It's always wonderful to hear your questions, either for us or for the guests, so you're certainly welcome to do that throughout the broadcast. And also, if you're interested sometime in being a guest on the show, you can certainly do that as well. We pretty much welcome anybody from the Steem community on this show. The most common thing we hear is, oh, I'm new, or I don't have anything to talk about, right, Snek? Or they say, oh, my story's not interesting, or something like that, and that's not true at all.
No, absolutely not. Every story is amazing. Like I said before, every story is different, so it's not boring at all. And I believe that everybody has something, to say. And all you have to do is just contact us, send us a DM, an inbox on either Discord or steemit.chat. To Main Event or to Poetic Snake, and we will get in contact with you. Or you can leave a reply on one of the show posts that either Main or I share on steemit.com.
Yeah, so get a hold of us. We'd love to chat with you. I'm going to play our little disclaimer quick here, Snekky. Is that all right?
Yes, I agree. I will stick my fingers in my ears. You are listening to the Steem Radio Show on MSP Waves. Everything you hear on this show is our opinion only and should not be taken as financial advice or advice of any kind. This show is strictly for entertainment purposes only. MSPWaves Radio and its owners take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of the radio station. The material on the Steem Radio Show is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research.
That's right, Snekky.
Yes, always do your own research. It's so important.
So we just got to get that out of the way. This is just our opinions. We're just learning more about these different Steemians, how they found their way here to the platform, what kind of projects they're working on, and just getting to know them more as people and the personalities behind these blogs, because that seems to add a whole nother layer, wouldn't you agree, Snekky? Once you've had a chance to voice chat with somebody and actually hear their voice and hear their, different things that they're working on, it just adds a lot more to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes the name, it turns the name into a real person. At least that's what it does for me. You get a deeper connection. You feel like you know someone a little bit better, and that's creating a network as well.
Yes, and so before we get started here, Snekky, do you have anything new or anything going on that you want to mention here before we get started?
Nope, nothing at all.
Okay.
I'm on a hiatus. No, just kidding. I'm doing everything at the moment, from painting to working on projects, and I kind of need a vacation soon. But I've been posting mostly for You Got Snacked and the radio show the last couple of days.
Yeah, same here. I've been really busy too, trying to enjoy some time off, trying to get outside. I have been able to take some more pictures, which is fun, now that winter's finally over. So I'll be trying to share more things like that coming up. And hopefully we can do some live streams too coming up, because we haven't done one in a while. We keep saying we're going to do it, and we need to just jump on that D Live and get her done.
Maybe I should, grab your chair and shake it a few times and then say, let's do this again, because I miss them as well.
Yeah.
I always find it very fun and entertaining, and also, you connect again with the people on Steemit, and that's just something I really like to do.
Yeah, like Darren's saying in the chat right now, I need to clone myself. I agree. I'm way too busy. I'm either working too much or whatnot. But now that it's summertime, I'm happy. Can actually get outside and do some things. So I'm excited. So that's really all I got going on. So I just wanted to give a chance, Snekky. I didn't know if you had anything new happening you wanted to mention, but we'll keep right on going here. Again, this is the Steem Radio Show with Ma1ne and Poetic Snake.
That's me.
And we have at least 2 guests tonight. So we'll go ahead and bring on our first guest. Who's going first? I forgot. Who said that they were going first? Because they both have freedom in their name here. So go ahead.
Hey, Ma1ne, that's going to be me.
All right. So let's welcome Freedom Point to the show. And Freedom Point, that's your Steemit username also?
Yeah, absolutely. At Freedom Point is my Steemit name. And then, over video, they call me the Yeti.
Well, that's wonderful. That's cool. Welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome to the show, Freedom Point, Yeti. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to be here. Thank you, guys.
And tell us, whereabouts in the world are you this evening? What country are you in?
Well, we are in the United States, down in southern Missouri, tucked up in the Ozarks. Out here, ain't nobody here but us trees,
Hey, I feel that. I'm up in northern New England, and it's pretty similar. So I feel that.
Right.
But hey, it's a wonderful place to be out in nature. I love it. So how long have you been on the Steem blockchain so far?
We've been on the Steem blockchain. I've been on the Steem blockchain since last October.
Okay.
Yeah, last October.
All right, so a decent amount of time so far. And do you remember how you found out about it or how you found your way here?
Yeah, actually, before we started with Steemit, we started doing YouTube, and we met some local homesteaders that were also doing YouTube and started, a little community here. And then something happened with one of the homesteaders, and they started getting demonetized, and they got all their undies in a bunch, And so they started talking about Steemit. And that's the first time that we ever heard of anything like Steemit, cryptocurrencies. I mean, we knew what they were, but that was the first time we heard of any sort of platform where a creator could actually get, compensated for their effort. And so once we started checking into that, it became kind of like a wave with the homesteaders. They came over to Steemit, which had an amazing homesteading community, and then it's just been, you know, amazing ever since.
And you said you had been doing some things on YouTube. So were you were creating content before you came here?
Yeah, it hadn't been that long. So we have what we call our little place here is Freedom Point Homestead. That's where the name came from, was just Freedom Point Homestead. And so what we were doing, we were just showing basic homesteading type videos. And so it would be just basic, simple stuff about, your chickens and your garden, just stuff that's in our world. And I started to also do a kind of a side project called Mystic Yeti Morning Coffee, which I like to talk about spirituality, philosophy, health, just whatever, is put on me in that time. And so that kind of started to overshadow the main homesteading thing. So we were right at a point of not even knowing what we were going to do with our YouTube channel when Steemit came along.
Now, how has joining Steemit changed that outlook now from kind of not knowing what you were going to be doing to now you've joined the Steemit website, which of course utilizes the Steem blockchain, just to make that distinction. And so how has this changed your life in good or bad ways?
Oh man, it has just blown it up. It's it's kind of like the sky's the limit in every direction we go. We've started with basic blogging, writing. Because I like to write more about philosophy and stuff in a deeper, kind of a spiritual anarchist kind of feel. And then I also get an opportunity to create videos. I've experimented with DTube, DLive. We've experimented with, what is that? Busy. We've tried all of the different, all the different little avenues that we can, or everything that has to do with the Steem blockchain. And so every time that we have a creative idea, there seems to be another way to get it onto the blockchain. And so we've been able to actually take anything that we have creatively and share that with somebody. And in return, that's come back to us in the terms of rewards. And that's really changed our lives, man. I'm a custom knife maker. I work leather. I cut firewood. I'm just down here in the hills, and by having access to something like this has changed our entire world.
Well, that's really cool to hear. I mean, and that's one of the wonderful things about the Steem blockchain that many people are saying is that it's creating all of these different opportunities, right? And it's introducing us to new people from all over the world, different projects, different content, so many different things. And I'm sure you must be experiencing similar things.
Oh yeah, we've gotten to see so many things from all around the world. Connecting with people, actually having conversations with people maybe over in Wales or all the way in Australia, and just really, it's almost like, I know that people have said about the internet that the internet made the world a smaller place, but Steemit seems to be really making, or the Steem blockchain, really making the world a smaller place, connecting with people in various countries. We're seeing stuff in different languages. We don't get it, but we appreciate it. You know what I mean? But you see people are putting their time, their effort, their energy, working to the best of their current ability, and we're getting to see that. I think that's something special.
Yeah, it's certainly a different world here. I mean, it seems like from when I joined, people here just seemed so much more friendly, willing to help you. You just had to know how to ask, of course, going around asking people to upvote you and do all that kind of stuff is not what you should be doing. You should be trying to make genuine human connections with people. And
follow for follow.
Yeah, we see that so often with people, and it's tough because I know people get excited, they want those rewards, they want to be successful here, and so they'll do those things. But try not to do any of that if you're listening out there and you're maybe somebody who's relatively new to the platform. Instead, try to engage, try to network, leave some genuine replies on people's posts. We've talked about this. If you read their blog and you like something about it, actually tell them, hey, I liked this certain part of this story that you wrote or whatnot. Something. Not just, hey, nice post, please upvote me or whatever.
Oh,
Oh. I mean, I think maybe when we're all new, we're all guilty of it to some extent, but don't keep doing it. At least once you realize not to do that type of thing, don't do it. But anyway, getting back on track with you though. So what are some of the different things that you're now creating and sharing on the Steem blockchain?
So probably the major thing that I'm doing every day, I do a one Yeti's perspective is what I call it. But my lovely, beautiful, talented wife, Stacy D, or Freedom to Write, she's challenged me to do a vlog every day for a year. And so I think I'm on number 128 or 129. And so I'm looking to push that through an entire year, every day vlogging about my journey in this world, whether it's spiritual life, health, wellness, fitness, and just in general, my perspective towards everything. So that's every day. I'm also doing some stuff like Yeti Life Tutorials, which is just pretty much, me and a whole bunch of crap that I know trying to share it with other people, except I call it a tutorial because it sounds better. and then we have some other projects. I've got a small series coming right now. It's a group of interviews that came out of the Nashville, Tennessee Steemit meetup. And I just started that yesterday with an interview with Johnny Clearwater. And so those are just a few of the things that I have in the mix right now.
Well, that is pretty cool. I mean, writing a blog every single day, that's quite a challenge. I mean, I know I haven't been able to post every single day on Steemit. I try to post at least every couple of days, but I haven't been able to find enough stuff to write about, I guess, yet to do it every single day. But that's really awesome that you kind of have a challenge going for that.
Yeah. Well, what I try to do is, since it's a vlog, right? So I'm doing a video every day. And so what I do is I just walk around the woods and I use my cell phone, selfie stick, and a bungee cord, and I find a different tree every time. So a different tree gives me a different perspective. And so really when you're talking about your perspective, that's just how you see things. So it doesn't necessarily mean what you're talking about, but how you see what you're talking about. And I think that's pretty important.
Yeah, definitely. And, everything on this show, of course, that we're talking about is just our opinions, too. So, of course, everybody's going to have a different experience here. We always mention this. Every person's going to have a different journey when joining either Steemit or just another interface with the Steem blockchain. No two people are going to have the exact same time here. So, just kind of learn from others and see what they're doing, and just try to do what you can to share your content. And, of course, people aren't going to support plagiarism. They're not going to support, taking other people's content. Be original, that type of thing. That's what we always try to encourage everybody. And so let's see here. So I want to look back here at some of these links that Johnny was sharing. So you might be on Johnny's show, too, I see.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. I had the honor, the pleasure, the privilege of participating. Settle down, woman. Yeah, I had a great time that we were able to participate in a Hots or Shots show while we were in Nashville.
Well, that's really awesome. I definitely want to go to a Steem meetup at some point. I've just got to figure out which one I can go to. I see some people talking in the audience chat right now about different possibilities this year. And, of course, we haven't heard where Steem Fest is going to be yet. Nobody's announced that. And I see a lot of these smaller meetups springing up, though, around the U.S. at least. And
you
so
see that right there? Austin in July.
Austin in July, I saw. And then I think Crimson's trying to get something going in New Orleans, I think. So.
You know what I would love to see?
In the Netherlands?
That too. I would love to have a meeting in the Netherlands, but I also would love to see main event on Hots or Shots and then shots.
I said I couldn't do Hots or Shots. I'd have to be able to pick the liquor. If I could pick the liquor, then I'd be all right. But if it's handed to me as a certain type, I don't think there's any way I could do that many. But we'll see someday, maybe. Maybe I'd have to do the Hots. I don't know.
Or both.
Or no way. Anyway. But of course, that's Johnny Clearwater's show, Hots or Shots. We want to give a big shout out to him. Of course, he kind of made the connection here to have you guys get on this show today. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. You're talking about trying to get to one of these Steemit meetups. It was just incredible because you're talking about seeing people on the platform and seeing their work, and you see their name, and then you step it up to a radio show, so you get to, hear their voice. So that way, when you're reading their stuff, you're hearing their voice as well. But then, man, when you go and actually meet someone face to face, it's completely a game changer. You're not just getting to see them and hear their voice. I mean, all the little, nuances and how they move and how they stand and how they talk. You really start to connect with people, and that is worth any amount of distance you can travel.
And let's see here. So the audience is chiming in about Steem meetups. What kind of dating site is this? Yeah, I don't know. It is cool to see it. I mean, I saw so many videos from the previous two Steamfest meetups, and I've been seeing these other smaller meetups that people have been doing in various places all around the world. And it is really cool that so many people are getting to do that, and I definitely hope I can do it someday.
I was Friend Zone meetup.
What's that, Snekky?
Sorry.
Oh, I said I had a little meetup with Sir Cork a few months ago.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to meet another fellow Steemian yet in person. I haven't had a chance, so definitely got to do it. So I'm hoping there'll be a meetup somewhere here in the U.S. that I can go to. So, but yeah, no, that's really cool.
I think we have a delay here. I was going to say, old Freedom to Write and myself. This is the second time that we had the opportunity to meet a Steem user outside of Steemit. We actually made a trip over to Kentucky to meet Bowen Troyer and the farmer's wife. So we went and found them out in the middle of nowhere, because when you connect with people and there's an invitation, hey, you just have to go. You know what I mean? Like, put down the crap that you're doing and just head out.
Yeah, and I'm just going to have to do it all as well. Hopefully, see, the problem I've been having is I hear about these Steem meetups and they're like in 2 weeks or something, and I'd have to work or something would be going on. If I had like a couple of months notice, then I could plan for something. And I've heard other people make that comment too. So if anybody out there's planning Steem meetups, make sure you get the word out plenty early for everybody so that people, because I think a lot of people are willing to travel to some of these Steem meetups. It's just, of course, we all have life, we have obligations. So if anybody does plan one this year in the U.S., just let us know. Somebody mentioned one possibly in, what was it, Texas, right, in July?
Austin in July is coming.
Okay, so that's at least a decent time to plan for it. So if anybody's looking for a meetup in the U.S., that's one that we're finding out about. I don't know the details of it yet, so...
Can you reach that by boat?
It'd be a long boat ride for you, Snekky. You'd have to go all the way around Florida, and yeah, it'd be a long boat ride.
But it is doable.
It's doable. You'd get to land on Texas, and then you'd have to somehow get to Austin.
No. I want to get to America on boat as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Do they do that still?
It beats
transatlantic. Yeah. So,
you were talking about having enough notice, right? So, I mean, July, that's plenty of time to take off for work.
Yes. So, I might have to look into that possibly.
We're just here removing excuses one at a time.
Johnny says he's got the details, so. All right.
You are going, man.
No pressure there.
No, we'll see. It's quite possible. I want to. I could use a vacation for sure. So I'm all for it.
He has a house with a pool.
All right. So everybody, if you do have questions, feel free to ask them in the audience. We're hanging out with Freedom Point right now here, so you can find them on Steemit on that same username. Snekky, I'm sure you've shared the blog there. Good job. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
So if you have questions for Freedom Point, feel free to ask away. Freedom, we always give everybody a chance. I'll more or less hand the microphone to you if you have anything you want to talk about while you're here on the show, if you want to give any shout outs to any other Steemians or communities or anything like that. I'll just kind of let you do that if you're interested.
Yeah, sure, man. I'll take that and run. As far as appreciation, shout outs to anybody. Anytime that I get an opportunity to share with people, shout outs to Johnny Clearwater for helping to set this up and for hosting that great meeting with Instructor 2121. Shout out to Steem Cafe, who's coming on later. I see that wonderful man is in the waiting room. and I appreciate them, you know, coordinating all of this. And we've got to meet so many new people. We met Dalton O, Ingenuity. We met Katrina Ariel, Luke Stokes. We met, Rhonda Kay. There's so many people that, just straight shout outs to them. But then I've got shout outs as well as here at home. Armadillo Creek. Armadillo Creek takes care of our chickens while we're gone. Or Borrowed Earth, who drives by and checks out our property. Or even just Featherhead, who is just around in the general area. And while she's learning to use Steem, she's looking to us to kind of help her. So, it's just, it's been so amazing, just all of the people, all of the love, all the support. You were saying this is probably the most amazing platform for positive and encouraging and uplifting. It's like everybody wants everybody to win. And I think that that's starting to pour over out into the physical world.
Yeah, I mean,
So I see that.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
Johnny Clearwater is talking about Steam Cafe as a flat Earth, or is the Earth not flat? What are they teaching in school now? This is ridiculous.
I
Right.
think they're teaching it that it's a kind of a square-like thingy.
I heard the last was an oblique spheroid. Is that a thing? Is that science? That sounds legit.
Yeah, I have
Well,
no idea. I mean, until I get a chance to go to the moon, I don't know. Honestly, that's one of those topics that we could go on forever about that one. But
Oh, didn't you
to
know that
each
the
to
moon
each
is
their
not
own.
real?
Oh, right, yeah. To each their own is what I'll say on all that. Like that's whatever you want to believe is totally that's your thing. So just like faith
right,
or anything else.
right. It's very funny. There's a whole lot of things. I like to talk about perspective and spirituality and philosophy and that. And we see a whole lot of stuff like when it comes to that flat Earth or round Earth or whatever. People are so passionate, and we're finding that people are so passionate about so many things that really ultimately it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So if you've got your food, your water, your clothes, your everything, it doesn't matter the shape of the earth. You can't actually see it. You know what I mean? Like that all that crap doesn't even matter every day. But yet people are willing to go to blows for it.
Right, and that could be said about so many different things in life. And hopefully, people coming to this community, they're finding ways to discuss things and share them in peaceful ways. I feel like for the most part. I mean, people are not always open-minded, but I feel like the people that are here are a little more open-minded and things like that, and they can be civil about discussions. Of course, not everyone's always going to agree. That's just the way life is, but as far as bringing it back to talking about like the Steem blockchain and things, the people who are coming here, a lot of them are just really creative, talented people. And it's so wonderful to see those types of people coming here because it's broadening a lot of people's horizons, and myself included. I mean, I'm chatting with you guys. I'm good friends with Snekky now, all the way over in the Netherlands. I'm becoming more diverse in my understanding of people and just what they do all around the world and things like that. And it's all because of the experiences I'm having here on the Steem blockchain, and that's for me, it's really amazing.
Oh, sure. There's a basic human nature that we all share, that's survival. And I think that it's kind of crazy because, I just was talking about this earlier that we don't have enough going on. And we as a species anymore, we're not having to work for our food, in a sense of like we're not gardening it, we're not making our own clothes, we're not hauling our own water. So we have so much quote free time that we're filling up with opinions about other people. And so on the Steem blockchain, what you were saying here is the positive creator, side of everything. We're getting to see all these people that are using their time to share. But what's really cool about Steem is that they're leaving like that troll mentality. They're leaving that on other sites, like they come here and you see people might start to troll, but then they won't be around very long.
Yeah, and I mean there is a culture here of trying to help people and not be somebody who's going to just step on the next guy to get ahead, that type of thing. Of course, there's always going to be those types of people around, and there'll be people who are, just have a negative attitude towards everything. That's just life. But in general, it does seem that the most of the people who are here are trying to help others for the most part. At least
So I
not
see
hurt
activist
them.
blog there is asking, what is your biggest homesteading accomplishment? You mind if I run with that for a second?
Absolutely. I was going to ask you that. Yep.
All right, so check this out. My biggest homesteading accomplishment was I built my own house. And so when I say I built my own house, I mean we bought this little property out in the middle of nowhere, and we slept in our suburban for 2.5 months while I designed a like at nighttime. You'd have to you'd have to get in the suburban when the sun set because there's things in the woods that'll eat you. So in that time where you're still awake, I would sit there and draw out house designs, and then during the day I would clean up the property and prep for it. And then I went to build the house, and I found out that all of my power tools were actually in my storage unit in the back on the bottom. So I ended up building the whole house with a tree trimming pole saw and a hammer and nails. And so we did it. We got a little bit of help standing up the walls, but we built our own house, and it took 2.5 months. So that is my biggest accomplishment. Not even homesteading, maybe in my whole friggin' life.
Yeah, no, congratulations. That's quite an accomplishment that's that's a lot of work, and you should definitely be proud of that.
Yeah, it was so amazing. Like it is a huge accomplishment. I mean, we are fixing it is up for sale, but yeah. So I see somebody else here is talking about knife making. Any chance you use steels? No. So the bug IQ, no. What I typically do is I'll tell you a little background. I actually went to school to be a machine operator. So all my classes were metal related, even science. So what I do now is I go out and I will gather up old steels from around here. It's usually a high carbon, like a 1095 steel. That's just like a general purpose high carbon. And then I'll anneal it completely, and then I'll work it, and then I'll do all my work to it, and then I'll harden it, and then I'll temper it, and then I'll handle it. So then that way I end up with a good, usually typically a bushcraft style knife, and then I will, and then I'll usually end up with like that, that 9 to 11-inch knife there. And yeah, you're talking about springs. I actually usually with leaf springs, I don't do too much heat and beating, but with the leaf springs, I got some leaf springs off of a dump truck, and I actually made 12-inch camp axes out of that. So they were not quite a half an inch thick, but then I used leather to wrap the handle.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I certainly think that's really cool that you're able to do all of that, and certainly a lot of interesting topics that you can share on Steem. All blogging about that lifestyle, I think a lot of people find that really fascinating.
Yeah, working with your hands, actually taking something and making something. I'm so passionate about, earth, you know what I mean? How I connect with it, how my energy flows into it when I'm meditating or walking barefooted. And then at the same time, how I can take metal and wood and make a usable knife, or take the clay and I throw pottery. And so I could be making any of that, but you're taking what's already here and making something. I mean, it beats the heck out of plastic. I can't make plastic, but it is just it's so it's gratifying to take something that was something before and then make it into something new. You know what I mean? That's not just like writing something or taking a video. That's literally physically changing it.
Is there also a downside to homesteading? Something that you would say, if I had known before, or I would maybe, do it differently?
I say a downside to homesteading, if you're not prepared, then the whole thing is a downside. So you have to do your homework and your research, and not only that, but then you have to be mentally prepared. Like it makes you a little crunchier, you know what I mean? A little more hardcore, a little more willing to get the blisters on your hands, a little more willing to get a little dirtier. Like you might end up going longer periods of time between showers, or you also have to sort out how you go to the restroom. Like if you're homesteading from nothing, you have to create where you go to the restroom. You know what I mean? It's just not there. So coming from a city where people, they pee in their drinking water. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole closed system there, and how that all works. Most people don't understand that. So you have to find your water, and then you have to find your waste. So to be prepared for that, and then depends where you live, is definitely you have to be prepared for the environment. it seems that it's a lot more raw. You step out here, our storms they seem to be louder, only because I think we're just one step closer. Like we feel the rain more. You know what I mean? If there's high winds, hey, there's trees whipping all around us. So like we're connected to everything, and then the bugs. And depending where you're at, the bugs can be terrible. Like we have terrible ticks here in southern Missouri, and so we have to definitely prepare for that. And then if you're going to homestead somewhere, just be prepared for the climate as well. So we knew that Missouri was going to be hot, but we didn't have any idea that it was going to be like heat stroke hot. And so now, I mean, it's May, and we're already spending a considerable amount of time down at the river just trying to stay cool. Like to cool our blood before bed, just so we can sleep at night.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of challenges that go into that lifestyle. It's something that I've always, fantasized, wished I could do, but I know it's a lot of work. And like you said, it's a lot of preparation, and I really hope that, you guys will continue to share that lifestyle with all of us, on your Steemit blogs, because I think that's really fun to watch and see how you guys will progress.
Well, actually, I think it's about to change. So what we're doing, I mean, this is a project like you were asking if we had any projects. I said not yet. It's because we are actually, our whole property is up for sale. Our whole homestead is up for sale right now, and we're looking to get either a bus and convert it or get an RV, and we're going to hit the road full time. So what we're trying to do is we'd like to go to different places. We'd like to go help out at different maybe church camps or things like that around the country. We'd like to go meet other homesteaders. And, there's a lot of homesteaders that just need, an extra set of hands or an extra set of eyes on something or somebody to help plan out something. So maybe we can go for a couple of weeks per homestead and just help out and then just stay on the road. So we might have some homesteading in there, but it won't be our own. We'll be like, I think we'll call it roadsteading. We'll be roadsteading.
I think that's awesome, though. That's really cool, and hopefully you guys will be able to travel and meet lots of interesting people, and like you said, maybe even help them out. And I think that will be really cool to see you do that.
Yeah, and I'm really excited because we're in different communities. Like some of our communities overlap, but pretty much, with the homesteading or with the video making, like that aspect, I'd like to go meet other creators that way. Freedom to Write will tell you she's more in the writing community, so I'd love to go meet them as well. So it's like every 2 or 3 weeks might be like a miniature Steemit meetup. You know what I mean? And get interviews, get to know people, get to know what they're doing. I can't wait, man. I'm so ready to go. It's ridiculous.
Well, that will be quite an adventure, I'm sure. Let's see. Does anybody in the live audience have questions? Feel free to chime in if you guys have more questions for Freedom Point while we have him here on the show. Snekky, of course, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to jump in at any time. She's sharing the blog link right now.
Yeah, that's my job, and I'm starting to get good at it.
But no, everybody, feel free to jump in here. We are hanging out with Freedom Point here today. So Snekky did share the blog link right in the chat, so feel free to check that out if you're interested.
I was wondering about something. If there was something you could change about the Steemit platform, what would it be?
Something I would change about the Steemit platform.
Yeah, is there something you are missing and you would love to see added to it or maybe take out?
Yeah, actually it was a conversation I had with Papa Pepper. And I kind of share a view with him, but on your main screen, like on your main blog, it'd be really nice if it separated your work from the work that you're re-steaming. Because I think that would encourage more creators to re-steam, because when you start re-steaming everything, it just buries all of your stuff on your own blog. So when people come to check you out, they can't see anything you're doing. And so that makes a lot of creators almost not want to re-steam, because when people come there, they want to show their stuff. So I think that if they had like a second screen for that, I think that'd be a pretty dope move.
And we do have a couple of questions in the audience chat. I can let you decide which ones you want to answer, but there's one mostly about your homestead. There's two questions
Okay,
here.
I'll start up here at Space Stace. How did I pick the land we built the house on? Well, I'll tell you what, we found some land on Craigslist down here, and we had everything completely set up and ready to go. And we came down to pretty much close on this property, but it was sight unseen because that's where we were at, you know. And it turns out that the hill, it was just a straight hill. I mean, there was a little bitty shack on the top of it, but it went straight down. So it was like 9 acres of almost vertical blackberry bushes. So it was terrible. And so we ended up staying in hotels, and we found a little real estate book at the grocery store, and we found this 2-line black and white ad at the bottom for this property. So we were lucky enough that we could drive out and see the property, and we saw where it was located, and that's how we ended up here. But I think that if somebody was going to just look for a house for a homestead, there's things you have to consider is what's the soil type, you know, because depending on the soil type would depend on how deep that you would have to put your foundation for your house to keep it from heaving when it freezes, as well as you would want to consider the land that you're buying for gardening or animals. So, you know, if you want chickens, they can pretty much go anywhere. But if you were going to raise something that needed more grass, well, then obviously you need more grass. So you have to kind of decide what you personally want. Some people homestead in the middle of the woods, and some people only want fields.
All right, very cool. And somebody else was wondering what your number one expense was when you were on the homestead.
Our number one expense. You know what? I'll jump in here a little bit. I mean, outside of groceries, like, okay, let's just assume everybody eats groceries. So outside of that, we've been blessed. It's been a long 4 years, but we've worked our way into being down here, being debt free. So what we've done is we've limited it down to, you know, your car insurance, electric bill, and a phone bill. So currently our biggest ongoing expense. Yeah, I'm reading that like what is my number one ongoing expense is probably our electric bill because we're on grid. But just in general, like if you're going to have a homestead, your number one expense is going to be your house.
Yeah, and that's really awesome that you know you're debt free, and that's certainly a huge milestone as well. So not only built your own house, but it's debt free, and that's huge. That's really awesome. So congratulations on that.
Great. Yeah, I see Space Age there talking about Craigslist. I'll tell you what, you check out Craigslist over in Springfield, Missouri, you'll find a sweet little place.
All right, everybody. Well, Freedom, was there any other things that you wanted to mention or talk about while you're here on the show?
Yeah, hold on 1 second here. I'm reading this here.
Sure. And yeah, if anybody else has questions, go ahead.
Space Stace right there is talking about they wanted bunnies too, but it would be for meat. Well, I'll tell you what, we actually, Space Stace, we started raising rabbits for meat for the local people around here. I'm vegan. So, and I use that as a term, as a general term that everyone understands. I'm really a yetivore, right? I eat what I want. But I don't eat meat, I don't eat dairy. And we were raising it to be a better, healthier food to try to help locals to get off of McDonald's and not buy their meat at Walmart. And it did become just too much. Like we had it, and then we started outsourcing the processing of it, and then it got to the point where this little bunny bounced out of a cage one day, and I picked it up. You know, I'm 6'5", 270, and this little bunny made me start crying because I could feel the energy there. You know, that's a whole other show. And so now it's just kind of like we stopped that. We sold every one of them, but yet we got the benefit of the manure for the garden. So if we have rabbits again, which we did talk about, I would rig up something in a greenhouse so that they were direct manuring the plants. So you can take care of the bunnies, you can love the bunnies because they're amazing, and then ultimately they don't have to die, and you're going to get some amazing veg.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting.
To go back there, to be a homesteader, you don't have to, you don't have to have animals. That's one stereotype that we blew wide open here because, you know, everything around here, everybody is meat, wrapped in meat, stuffed in meat. So we brought something different. And so it doesn't really cause any issues with other homesteaders. Everyone is respectful of it, but we definitely don't fall into that stereotype.
Yeah, and it's to each their own. I mean, it's your lifestyle,
Yeah.
it's your home, it's what you want to do. So, hey, I commend you for
Yeah.
that.
I'm reading this, and she says, "Look it in the eye and then boop it." Yeah, it's not quite like that.
No.
It's a thump. It's not a boop. Let's be real. You're gonna kill it and eat it.
Let's
Just
see
trying to
here.
keep up here.
Oh yeah, no, this will go on forever, the chat here. But no, it's certainly wonderful having you here with us, and I wanted to give you one more opportunity. If there was any other, just I don't know, projects you have planned, or just things you want to mention while you're still here, any last minute shout outs here, and then we'll probably bring Freedom to Write here on pretty soon.
Well, my lovely, beautiful, talented wife, Freedom to Write, and I, we were looking to do more big time collaborations. Potentially, we're kicking around ideas to do something bigger, something that we can share and bring to people together. Because we do a lot of stuff separately and then only come together sometimes. But we're thinking about something bigger, and so we don't have a name. We just kind of have an idea, and we're running with it. Besides that, the traveling and seeing the country. I don't know, man. I think I've shouted out everybody I could think just right off the. I want to shout out to Ma1ne Event for having us on, and Snekky for taking care of us and putting up some amazing links in the chat.
Snekky, do
Oh,
you
you're
have
welcome.
any other questions or anything for them, or any parting words for Freedom Point?
Parting words or a question. How many chickens do you have, by the way?
We currently have 12. So we have 11 hens and one rooster. And we started with just, Freedom to Write still eats eggs. And so we started with just a chicken, basic chicken, just to have the eggs. And we've gone to what's called a heritage breed. And so the heritage breeds live for, 7, 8, 9 years. And so we've got some Rhode Island Reds, we've got some Silver Laced Wyandottes, some Cuckoo Morans, and then this one beautiful girl we call Blue, but she's a Lavender Orpington. And so we've got a little motley crew out there of good-looking birds, but it's 11 eggs a day.
Oh, wow.
That's like one huge cake.
It's something, man. Look at that Steam Cafe. I'm going to take that as he's complimenting my ability to carry a conversation. I think he loves me. And I will, Johnny Clearwater, I'll take you up on that beard growing challenge.
Well, all right, everybody. We have been visiting today with Freedom Point. You can, of course, check out his blog right on Steemit under that same username. Snekky just shared it in the chat. And it's certainly been wonderful to have you here on the show today, and we'll certainly try to have you on again sometime to get an update.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for being with us today, and it was nice meeting you. And I'm looking forward to the travel stories about, moving home. How did you call it? Travel steading? No.
Oh, we might call it roadsteading. I don't know if
Oh
that's
yes,
a thing,
roadsteading.
but we're gonna live everywhere.
I think roadsteading should become a word. Absolutely.
We should coin that term, make our own tag and everything. People jump in there.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'll be certainly cool to watch how that progresses. And yes, thank you again so much for being on the show with us today, Freedom Point.
All right, guys. Thank you. Be well.
All right, everybody. So that was our interview today with Freedom Point. What did you think of that, Snekky?
I enjoyed it, and I'm sorry I'm laughing about the little picture Johnny just shared about the Yeti.
Yes.
No, I found it very interesting. I always enjoy hearing everybody talk about, what they love to do, and you could hear that he's passionate about everything that he's doing. So I liked it.
Yes. And again, everybody, you're listening to the Steem Radio Show here with myself, Ma1ne Event, and Poetic Snake.
Oh, that's me.
It's certainly wonderful to have you here with us on MSPWaves Radio. Of course, you can learn about all the different radio shows here on the station by visiting MSPWaves.com. You can also listen to the show there as well. And there's a full schedule on the page, and it's all people who are on the Steem blockchain who are hosting these radio shows. So certainly check it out if you're interested. Again, it's MSPWaves.com. And this is the Steem Radio Show. We're here every Wednesday night. It's from 10 to midnight UTC time. So if you're listening, of course, live right now, it's May 23rd, 2018. Or if you are listening to the recording, because I do share this on Steemit after the fact as a show post and on YouTube. So certainly thank you for checking that out and supporting the show through those show posts. And speaking of that, I just went back, and so Pensif is still doing his contest, I believe, where people can review radio shows here on MSP Waves. So let me see here. I'll share the link one more time here in the chat. So, and this is his contest, so I mean, we aren't, directly affiliated with it, but you can certainly write a review about this show if you enjoy it or give us some feedback. And, so that is still ongoing, I believe. So check that out.
Check it out. And leaving reviews about the shows does help the show host as well. It's a nice thing to read what people, feel and think about your radio show. So, go and have a look at it.
Right. And I mean, again, we're not directly affiliated with it or whatnot, but we certainly want to, at least mention it, that it's an opportunity that you can do if you'd like. Of course, as always, are just our opinions. Do your own research. But yeah, check it out if you like. All right, so let's go ahead and bring our next guest onto the show. We have another Freedom named person here joining us. Freedom to Write. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Hello, Freedom to Write. It's great to have you with us as well.
Yes, Freedom, welcome to the show. And so remind our listeners here, whereabouts in the world are you this evening?
I am in the United States in southern Missouri.
Wonderful. And have you been on the Steem blockchain just as long as Freedom Point, or who really joined first, or did you both join kind of at the same time?
He joined first and kind of started navigating through it. And then shortly after, I made my account, but I didn't do anything with it until almost December. So if he joined in October, it just took me a couple months to get on board. He kept encouraging me, though. And then finally, I just went ahead and I was like, okay, great. I'm going to make my introductory post. And then I was hooked.
Now,
sorry.
No, go ahead, Snekky. No, go ahead.
Okay. I'm just wondering, is there any competition going on with the posting, Like friendly poking at times, I got more votes than you.
Yeah, we have had a couple of those. We both got a pretty good upvote a few months ago, and it was my first big one, and he had a few before that, so I was really excited because finally I was getting something closer to his range, and then as the day went on, we kept seeing who was going to go higher and higher and higher, and then I think I ended up winning that day, so that was a pretty cool achievement. And then another one that we had was for followers. He was always way higher than I was, or is. I mean, he still has, I don't know, twice as many. But I think at one point, I just wanted to reach a milestone before his next milestone. And I was working so hard. I was going out and trying to find new people, And then he went on Pensif's show. And then the next day, he had like 20 more than he did the day before and just blew me out of the water.
See, those radio shows. they're a good
I know.
thing. Well, hopefully you'll maybe get a few followers for being on this show. We'll see how that goes for you.
Freedom to write. Freedom to write. Push follow now. I'm trying to, make people do that. Push.
Perfect.
You gotta share the link, Snekky. You gotta share that link.
Oh yes.
So tell us what you're doing now that you're here on the Steem blockchain. How are you utilizing it? What do you think of it? What's been your experience so far?
My experience has been pretty incredible. Coming from other social media platforms where they just feel like they wear you down and they don't build you up at all, and they kind of just suck the life right out of you. I was really pleasantly surprised to find that this was such an energizing community. So I think the biggest thing that I've found here is that there's, in so many different groups, there's that sense of family and acceptance and non-judgment. So I think with me, I've really been an aspiring writer for a long time now, but I really lacked a community to get involved with for that. I mean, a little bit locally at one point, but that just kind of faded away. So to be here and to write things, whether it's good or bad or indifferent, and still, get feedback and encouragement has been just phenomenal.
Well, that's certainly great to hear. And yes, it creates so many different things for different people. And it's, like you said, coming from other social media that maybe, you go on there and maybe you have good experiences with it. I don't know. Personally, I don't really have the best experiences with other social media. I hardly even use them anymore, as a matter of fact. But this social media platform, Steemit, and of course the other apps on the Steem blockchain, I use them all the time now, and I don't know if it's just because I'm still excited or whatnot, or, of course the rewards are in there, and that's a factor too. But the community aspect of it, the friends that I'm making online, the conversations, all of these things are what's keeping me here. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree. I mean, sure, the financial aspect is absolutely. We have a saying: we came for the money and stay for the community. Because that's really when you hear about Steemit, you're like, okay, well, what sets it apart? Like, why should I even bother? And then you hear, oh, well, it actually pays you for your effort. I remember being on a different social media platform and thinking, man, if I could get paid for this would be amazing. And that was just like a chuckle, and then to put that with this is pretty sweet, So I got lost in my own thoughts there for a second, thinking about all those things. But yes, I do agree that I think it, not literally necessarily, but it pays to be kind here. You're not rewarded if you're a troll and if you are mean and moody, and where other places, you get more attention when you're the mean guy, but here, you'll get downvoted to oblivion. So it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there's definitely it has its own culture here, which is forever evolving too. I mean, it's different now here even than it was a year ago when I first joined, and I'm sure it's different than when Snekky joined 2 years ago. So it's a constant evolving culture here on the Steem blockchain, but you're right, it doesn't really encourage people to be trolls, people to just be mean to other people, or to be scammers or plagiarizers, all that stuff. There's people who are actively trying to keep that cleaned up and keep that type of stuff not here. So it's really, like you said, it's encouraged to be kind here and to be helpful and to just be original, share your own original content. Don't be a plagiarizer, or don't be doing that type of stuff. You'll do so much better if you're just original, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And then when you're original and you put your own thoughts into something, and then to see that come back in any kind of return, whether that's financial or whether that's just support from the community or new friends, then it builds you up as a person, because you're like, man, those were my own thoughts. I took time to write them all out, to put together a blog. I got to be creative, and now I'm getting rewarded for that. And it's really uplifting, and it makes me feel so positive about what I'm doing and what I'm contributing.
Now, what are some things that you're hoping to continue to share on your blog? I know Freedom also mentioned you guys are possibly doing a road trip in the future, but what are some things that you like to post on your blog as of either right now or things in the future?
Right now it's really writing heavy. There's a contest going on at the Free Write House for the daily prompts. So for, I don't know, the next 50 days or so, we're writing every day and putting a selfie with it. And then hopefully at the end, there's this really great, big, huge jackpot for the winner. So my blog right now is really writing heavy. I do really love to blog about all the cooking I do, because we're plant-based. It's really fun to share the recipes and the know-how with people. And so I've gotten a really great, a lot of feedback from that. And then just things around the homestead. And then I do want to post about our traveling and all the adventures we're going to go on. And then I'm also hoping to take some of my writings, especially the main story that I've been working on, and I'm going to try to do some sort of like audiobook with it, learn how to record it. I've done author reads where I've taped myself reading it, but then I thought, well, a lot of people like just to be able to throw earbuds in and listen. And I thought, well, hey, I could give that a shot.
Yeah, no, that sounds really awesome. And would you say that your experiences being here on the Steem blockchain is encouraging you to write more, not just for the rewards, but is it kind of reigniting your creativity in writing?
Yes, absolutely. I didn't realize how creative I could be until I started going. And I'm just really surprised in myself about how many stories I can just make up, or how many characters suddenly feel alive. And I've just really enjoyed that aspect. And I don't know, I just like a whole new side of me I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about joining the Steem blockchain and writing on Steemit and all these things is you suddenly will discover either new hobbies or new things that you might like doing. Like, I kind of liked photography a little bit, but after joining Steemit and realizing that I could be finally sharing some of this world that I see every day with more and more people that may actually appreciate it, instead of just, friends and family who see it all the time, that kind of thing. That's what encouraged me to want to actually go out and get a real nice camera and actually expand on that hobby. And it's cool to see so many people now getting back into writing, and some of them are doing poetry and so many cool different things that's, re-inspiring their creativity. And I think that's great, because other social media, you're not really doing that. You're just sharing. Half the time it's somebody posting a picture of what they had for dinner or something. It's not really stirring your creativity. Wouldn't you agree?
I would totally agree. I was just thinking it's like the reality shows of social media, where it's not real, so I think that's what really starts dragging me down about the other sites, is that people are posting the good stories about themselves, but even that's tweaked. So you talk to somebody in person, you're like, hey, I just saw that you had a great afternoon at the park with your kids. And they're like, oh my gosh, let me tell you about it. And then they just rant because leading up to that really happy picture were temper tantrums and all these other things that went wrong, but like you only saw that really happy part that they wanted you to see. Or vice versa, people are really dramatic, so they'll only post the drama in their life versus a steady bounce. So it's like none of it's real. So I feel like with Steemit, although I think it's funny too, because although you don't even have to be yourself, like you can create a character or you can be anonymous, I feel like you're more real here because you are being creative and you're showing your creative side, which has so much of your heart and soul in it. It just leaks into it naturally.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, some people choose to stay anonymous, and that's fine. You can do that. You can create a character, like you said. But in a way, you're still being real, behind that. I feel like a lot of people are. And maybe that's
right. It gives them that freedom to be real.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's sharing it with audiences from all over the world too. It's not just your friends and family like other social media or your colleagues or whatnot. These are, people literally all over the world who are going to see this stuff. And you hopefully will make some new connections. You'll make some new friends. Who knows? You might even have life-changing experiences because of this.
Wait a minute.
Exactly.
People all over the world will hear this?
I think so, as far as I know.
God. Now I'm nervous.
That's so funny. Yeah, I think it's so great too. Because I have friends all over the place. Canadian Renegade up in Canada. They're a couple, so I talk to the wife all the time, and she's amazing. And I'm like, I would never have met her or known she was even existed if it weren't for Steemit. So I just think it's great.
There's a question in the audience, if I may be so free.
Yep.
Keeping it free.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Activist Blog is asking, what is your favorite homestead project? And same, what is your biggest homesteading achievement?
Oh my. My biggest homesteading project, apart from, well, I guess right now I'm in the middle of finishing the inside of our house. So I'm working on that almost daily, and that's taking a lot of effort because we live in it. So, it's really hard. We have a tiny house. I don't know if Freedom Point mentioned how big our house is, but it's a 16 by 16 with a loft. So, there isn't a whole lot of space for our belongings, and everything we own is inside. So if I need to texture and paint a wall, I have to spend time moving everything, covering everything up, and then getting to work. And that's really, that takes a lot of time. And then, and then the plumbing, we did run plumbing in from our well outside into the house. So we've had indoor plumbing for a while. We do have an outhouse though. So that's not a part of our house. So that's fine. And then here recently we just got a kitchen sink. So before that we were using our shower area with a little spout. And then the Yeti here installed a kitchen sink. So that was super exciting. So I'm kind of addicted to the dishes now. I never thought I'd say that. And then my biggest achievement is when I learned how to hatch chickens. Right before we decided to get heritage breeds, all of our chickens were just rough. We were getting them from like a supplier that didn't have a good breed. I can't even remember what they were called, but they were awful. They got tumors and they died. And so we were not having a good fortune with them at all. And I was like, man, this is terrible. And we talked it over and we're like, well, what if we did heritage breeds? And it was just something that maybe we could trust and maybe invest in a little bit more. So we found somebody who sold fertilized eggs, and we borrowed an incubator, and I learned all about it. And I was so nervous to get all of the eggs set and put, and the timing of them and how to turn them every day, because we didn't have an automated turner. It was me. And then getting the temperature and the humidity just right. And so that first time that I heard the little, tweet tweets coming, because they do that while they're still in the shell. So to hear that coming from there and the knowing that I was successful, that was my biggest achievement.
How many chickens would you say you've raised so far, roughly?
Oh my, 200? About 200.
Well, yeah, that's quite an accomplishment then. So you certainly have figured it out.
Yeah, thank you. It was crazy because when they're brand new, you don't want to put them outside because they'll get too cold. So we had them in totes, in those big plastic tubs in our house with a warming, like a heat lamp. And then because we have such a small area, they would just chirp all day and all night. And then it was so disorienting because in the middle of the night, that light would be so bright and there would be birds chirping. So immediately you're like, okay, great, it's morning. And it wasn't. It was like 2:00, and that was hard. So once they were old enough to be put outside, that was nice. But then we would just start a little, all over again.
Well, that's really awesome. Cool. I love hearing all those homesteading stories, and it sounds like the audience is enjoying it too. So, yeah, that's really cool.
It's kind of romantic in a way. At least that's how when I hear people talking about it, I kind of romanticize it in my head, and it's really, it makes you dream a little bit closer if you hear someone else talk about what they already achieved and what they experienced with it. And the chickens, I really want chickens too. I live in an apartment, and my neighbors would not like it if I had a rooster here, but yeah.
That's so funny. I think something that Freedom Point and I have always been about is commitment. So when we make a big decision, like a big leap, we don't give ourselves room to quit. And I think that would be really important, because going from, a city lifestyle to a homesteading lifestyle, there's so many factors that get lost because people are so excited about, the romance of it, like you said. And so when they first set out, they just feel like, oh, well, I can accomplish anything. And it's true. They totally can. But, not every day feels good. Some days are extremely hard. Some days you just spend the day crying in the mud because none of your plants are growing. Or you spend a day wondering why all your baby bunnies died. Or you feel alone, and there's this huge downside to it. Like with any lifestyle, there's really the really hard days, because I feel like the good days are so rewarding that the hard days are almost like a tragedy. And so you really have to be able to push through those days to get to the successful days. And we've seen a lot of people come and go because when, push came to shove, they didn't have enough grit. They didn't know how to push through, and they quit, and then just went right back to the lifestyle that they had before. And it's so sad because they had so much potential. So we really try to encourage everyone that the mental grit, that, not giving up, not giving yourself an exit, but sticking with it, I think is the most important aspect out of any of it, because it's pretty much all hard until you get your feet underneath you. It's worth it, but it's really hard.
Yeah, everything I've ever read about it or watched about it or seen in person, with friends that do it and things like that, it's certainly challenging, but like you said, it can be really rewarding too. I'm sure there's balance with all of that, and it's a very tough lifestyle, but I certainly commend you guys for doing that, and it's certainly really cool to learn more about it, for sure.
Yeah, and then I see that there's a question about eating eggs. Is that right?
Yeah, anything you'd like to answer.
I can't multitask very well.
Oh, it's okay. If you see a question you want to answer, feel free. You don't have to answer them all, but whatever ones you would like to answer, feel free. If people in the audience do have some last questions here for Freedom to Write, and of course Freedom to Write, I want to give the opportunity for yourself, if you want to talk about any specific projects or things you have planned or working on, or if you want to do some shout outs as well, feel free.
Sure. So I'll just tackle the egg question. I am the only one that eats the eggs. I still really enjoy them. So, I collect them every day, and then, I eat them, and then we've given some away too, if we've had a surplus, because that happens a lot. Or, I guess it's really nice. We have 2 dogs. So if there's any cracked ones, we, throw them over to the dogs. So that's really great. I don't know if there were any more questions right off. I would like to give a couple shout outs. It's really awesome. I know Johnny Clearwater has been talking a lot in the audience, and he's been an amazing person to meet and to get to know. And then Steam Cafe was terrific. Freedom Point had been talking to him off and on, and then I got to meet him this past weekend, which was really cool. And then let's see, Ingenuity was fantastic. We just met him, but I've been talking to him in my comment section of my Lola story, here recently a lot. So it was really cool to meet somebody in person that really enjoys what I do. That was a really cool build up. And then there's a photographer that we know, the Great Dane, who posts his beautiful, amazing pictures. So, if anybody gets a chance to check him out. I know that Freedom Point talked a lot about the people around us, because we have a lot of homesteaders around us that are on Steemit. So there's Borrowed Earth, Armadillo Creek, Featherhead. I hope I'm thinking of all of them right off. And then I definitely check them out. And then just thinking about friends that I have that I've met, Canadian Renegades, fantastic. And Dream Steam is great. And then I'm just starting to get to know Carrie Allen. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be on her show on Friday. And also on Pensive. So Pensive is fantastic. So I don't know. I know that there's a ton of people that I just care about and want to talk about, but my mind's a blank.
I think it's impossible to name them all. And that's one thing people can take away if you're just learning about Steemit for the first time and the Steem blockchain, is that right there. There's so many cool, interesting people out there that you can meet, that you can interact with. That alone is worth the time here.
Exactly. It's totally worth it, because like I said earlier, I would never have had this opportunity to meet so many, even like-minded people out there. And it's a great feeling.
I certainly agree. Johnny was asking if you had any input on the challenging of raising kids in a homestead life.
Well, that would be a challenge, I can imagine.
Yeah, I could imagine too. I mean, you have to decide what you're going to do, schooling and all these things. And yeah, I mean, raising kids is challenging enough, I'm sure. So on a homestead, it's going to be even more. You got so much more going on. But Let's see. Any other questions for Freedom to Write here from the audience, or if Snekky, if you have any more questions, feel free to jump in here at any time.
Yeah, if there's anything you could change about the Steemit platform or add to it, what would it be for you?
For me, I think I would really love a notification system built into the Steemit platform where I didn't need to go outside of it, to find who was, mentioning me or, re-steam something. I really like GinaBot. Don't get me wrong. It's a great service. I'm so thankful that it's available. But I think definitely notification, because as the platform grows and as we're gaining these connections, there's so many times that, I've missed something or something slipped through the cracks. So I would really love to have something where I could it'd be easy to use. Every time I logged in, it would just be right there. I could click on it and see.
I think there was a time that the notifications worked. I don't know. I see Crimson Glad is in the audience. Maybe she can chime in on that. But for some reason, it stopped. Yeah.
Might have been before my time.
Yeah, they definitely were notifications. I remember them. They would kind of come and go. You could see things. Yeah, and then they just kind of went away. So I'm sure it was probably utilizing too much of the resources or whatnot, I'm sure, for now, until they're able to make some changes, maybe. I'm not an expert on that. I don't know. But they did exist.
Right.
They did exist.
I don't know anything about creating a blockchain.
Yeah, people are mentioning other options. And yeah, there are other options. Steemit, of course, is just one interface of the Steem blockchain. There's many of them.
That's true. That is true. I shouldn't forget that.
Yeah, that is one big distinction we always do try to make, because even people have corrected us before for saying it, Of course, you have the Steem blockchain being utilized by, interfaces like Steemit and other applications, like DTube and all these things. So,
right. So I can't just, and then I don't want to oversimplify it by just saying, I need a notification button, but,
We are so used to it, though. We're used to it being there from, of course, other social medias, and that's where we do got to walk that fine line of we sometimes we complain about the old social media, but then we do wish certain aspects of it were here. I notice. So it's a fine line to walk. It's a fine line to walk, but I mean, overall, I think the culture is very different here.
Right. The culture is very different here, and I see people are mentioning a lot of different other places to go, and I really appreciate that. It's always great to have other avenues and just to branch out, and not just limit yourself to one resource.
Yep, there's a lot to learn here. There's a lot to it. And, we certainly aren't experts by any means. We just give our thoughts and opinions about all of this and share our experiences with you. And it's certainly a wild ride. And learning more about what you're doing and your writing and the life you're going to be living going ahead here, possibly doing some road trips and traveling. I think if you guys blog about that and continue sharing your own individual projects and content, I think you'll probably do quite well here.
Yeah, thank you very much. I see there's a question from Activist Blog. Do you mind if I go ahead and take that?
Sure.
Okay. What is a goal for road setting? I think our goal would probably be to not rush first and to just go from place to place and hopefully help people that we meet, and probably have some target goals as well. Like, okay, well, we know that, for example, the farmer's wife and Bo and Troy live in Kentucky on a farm. So I could see us heading that direction again, and spending some time helping them out with their projects. Maybe we make it there during calving season or something, and then just seeing things also that we've never seen before. Like, I've never been to the Pacific Ocean, and I would love to go on the other side and, see all this, New England states. So that as well. And then our daily life, we've talked about that a lot. We don't know, because we don't know, having here, we at least have chores, but when we're on the road, we won't really. I mean, just, upkeep of our RV or bus, but I don't know how it would go. I guess a lot of steaming.
Yeah, I think if you chronicle that journey, either with video or at least pictures and blogs and things like that, I think people would find that really fascinating to see some Steemians, traveling around the country, especially if you're going to meet other Steemians or even introducing people to the blockchain. I think people would find that entertaining. I would myself.
Aw, thanks. That's great. And then I see here international trips. Well, there's one minor flaw with that. The Yeti does not fly. So I'm not sure how I would get him anywhere. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the A-Team where they have to drug him to get him on the plane. But yeah, he said drugs. So I'm not sure, but we're thinking about heading up to Canada at some point, but I don't know if that's necessarily international if we're all in North America, but I've never been there before. Booze. That's funny.
I can relate to Freedom Point. I don't fly either. That's why I said, can I go there by boat? Maybe you can put the RV on a boat. You never know.
Ooh, that was a good idea. I wonder if they could support us. Well, I'm sure we just have to, figure that one out. That would be great. I could probably get him over to Europe on a boat.
Well, I also think maybe you have something like a huge wooden hammer or anything. You can. Poof,
yeah, you know what? In
sleep.
fact, we do.
You'll
when
make
he goes
it
to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, everybody. So we have been visiting today with Freedom to Write, and you can find her on Steemit under that same username. Poetic Snake has shared the blog link in the chat. Snekky, or excuse me, hold on. Freedom, do you have any final things you want to mention before we let you go here?
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. And it's been so much fun. And, I was a little nervous at first, but you guys are great and made me feel super comfortable. So thank you.
Snekky, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I want to say thank you for joining us on the show. I really, really enjoyed hearing you two talk about your life together, and I'm going to follow along because, like I said, I romanticize it. I love reading about it, and I really look forward to seeing where this roadsteading is going. So keep up the good job, and I'm looking forward to everything.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Freedom to Write. And again, you can check her out on Steemit. It's at Freedom to Write, all one word. And certainly check out the blog link. And of course, check out Freedom Point as well. So both of them, thank you so much. And again, yes, we will certainly follow your journey. And it'll be interesting to watch. So thank you. All right, Snekky. So, what did you think of that?
Think about what? Oh, yes. No, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's like every time that I hear people talk about homesteading, it's like there's this little flame inside me growing bigger to following, my own dream and one day doing it. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yes, so that was at Freedom to Write, and then before that we had at Freedom Point with us on the show. So two wonderful guests, so thank you so much. And we do have a third guest today.
Ooh, isn't that amazing?
So let's please welcome our third guest onto the show today. Welcome, Steem Cafe. I hope I'm saying that all correctly.
Hey, what's going on? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, welcome to the show,
Awesome.
Steem Cafe.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that. What's shaking? Where are you guys at anyways?
Well, I am shaking in the Netherlands.
And I am in New England, USA.
I come from the Constitution State, Connecticut. So.
All right, that's awesome.
Yes.
And so how long have you been on the Steem blockchain so far, Steem Cafe?
I believe I actually signed up on October the 10th of 2017. Did my first video on January the 4th of 2018, and we've just been rocking and rolling ever since. So it's rad to be here and just going about our business, having fun, and cashing checks.
Nice. And so tell us, how did you find your way here? What are you utilizing the Steem blockchain for so far? What do you think of it? Just kind of give us an overview of your experience here so far.
So big shout out to Nick over at Johnny Clearwater. He actually set everything up. So big shout out for him for allowing us to actually open a conversation with you guys. So that's how I find myself here today. But what we're using the Steem blockchain for is really just a form of communication of really about education and entertainment combined. We're talking about the benefits, really utilizing this revolutionary form of blockchain technology and just really just having fun with it. You know, we don't take ourselves too serious, and our message is getting out, and people have been so gracious, and we've been very, very fortunate that we've had incredible feedback. So it's absolutely rad that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a whole different world here. I know when I joined, I had no idea what to even expect here. And, you know, here I am now doing this radio show with Poetic Snake in the Netherlands. You know, we're talking to people like you, and it's certainly wonderful, and it's cool to see how many different types of people are joining this community. What brought you here? What are you posting? Like, what types of things do you like to share on your Steemit blog?
I know. So when we originally started deciding what to share, so I've been very, very fortunate. I have a background in finance and ultimately market trends. And Steem came across our radar probably about May of last year. We didn't think anything, we found it interesting. It actually hit, our chatter board, probably top 10 projects to look at. And then we got involved. Saw that the momentum was there, and really it's about return on investment of our time and energy. And we thought that it's probably on the cusp. So we want to get a placement, being able to share our message, really share to be entertaining, and hopefully find other people that will find it entertaining. And that's really what it's about. So we first started out just really sharing about our lifestyle. So, we shared it. It's called the show called Steem Cafe. That's at Steem Cafe. It's co-hosted by my two rad friends, at Larry Morrison, and then at OGC, my PIC, Carly. So that's at OGC. And we really just shared our love of wine, smoking, food, distilled liquor, spirits. And it really just got a hold of us. We got involved in DTube. They've been extremely supportive, DLive and all the video platforms, and people have just really engaged us. So after that, she got upvoted by DTube. We were like, you know what, who share values us, that actually are sharing a message here on Steem that we find entertaining. So it didn't matter if you had 5 followers or 10,000 followers. We started reaching out, and we invited everyone to come here to Las Vegas about 4 weeks ago and get all these other passionate people on Steem and let me and OGC really steal all their ideas. And we just had an event. We had about 70 attendees from all across the country, all across North America, Mexico too, Canada too. And we're looking to produce another 4 or 5 major events here in North America and in Asia.
Well, that's really amazing. Like we mentioned earlier, I certainly think these Steem meetups are a great thing. It adds a whole nother element to this entire experiment that we're all a part of. Actually meeting these people face to face, I'm sure is amazing. Like I said, I haven't had the privilege of doing that yet. I hope to. And so tell us more about some of that. So were you somebody who created videos and things like that before you got to Steemit, or was that your first experience doing all of this?
Yeah, so I represented different organizations and individuals because of contractual agreements. I literally helped them develop social media presences. These are platforms such as Facebook, Instagram. I mentioned the platforms. I really can't mention who we did it for. And we found great enjoyment and a positive ROI, tons of impressions for very, very cheap. And so I'm never really in front of the camera. I mean, it's really, if I can actually mention one of my clients, they have permission, is I actually represented Versace for a little while. So one of the greatest fashion brands in the entire globe, we helped facilitate some of their impressions for them. And we thought, hey, listen, let's really share our message. Let's share our message with people and find it. So no, I am not with video, but my clients are. We just thought it's a fun way. I literally started out with a free cell phone, a pink selfie stick, and a bottle of whiskey. And lo and behold, now I'll probably travel to 17 different countries in the next 8 months for Steem. And I'll probably go to about 25 different states as last time. So I've been to 14 states already this year just for Steem, and we're looking to add to it. So in about 4.5 days, I just came back from Tennessee. Once again, big shout out to Johnny Clearwater. Big shout out to Instructor 2121 for facilitating that. And it's awesome to meet people face to face. And then we're actually going to Toronto. So it's been a fun ride, and people have been very, very supportive. So I'm very, very grateful. Me and my crew, it's the @Steem Creators crew, are so very blessed that people find what we do.
Yeah, and there are other projects out there too, like the promo Steem communities and these things where you possibly could interact with too and help spread that message with even more people, because the more people that find out about these meetups and things, I think the more successful they'll be. Promotion, of course, is crucial for events like that. And so, certainly, as we mentioned earlier, getting the word out early about these things, sharing it with different Discord communities and things like that will go a long way. I'm sure you're well versed and experienced in promotion and all that stuff like you were mentioning, but I certainly want to check one out. So where are the different possibilities for meetups that you're thinking about?
Well, thank you so much. Main event with a number 1 in it. So we are going to be, our next major event is a stone's throw from where you're at. It will be held in Toronto, September 6th through the 10th. Thank you so much for asking about that. And if you show up, my friend, we'll set aside a free ticket for you. Poetic Snake. If you show up, I'll only set a ticket aside. I'll buy you a glass of wine. How's that sound, darling? So we have that on the horizon. That's our next major event. But we're really proud to announce that we have April the 10th through the 14th of 2019. That's going to be the Steem Creators Conference and SMT Summit. And that's going to be in the hometown of the big dog, Steemit Inc. That will be in Austin. So that's April through the 14th. And then once again, we're going to come back to Canada. That's September the 5th through the 9th. And that's going to be in Vancouver, British Columbia. So those are the ones we have for North America. And then we do have 5 dates in Asia. So we're actually going to do a quick Asian tour, 21 days, 5 major stops. Hopefully Johnny Clearwater. I know he's afraid to really engage other people in real life. So it's a shame. He seems so personable on video, but yet in person, he's kind of awful. Is that we're going to go to Brisbane, Manila, Hong Kong, Seoul, Korea, and then also Bangkok, Thailand. So hopefully if you guys can't make it to any one of those events, always support Roland P. He's doing big things, obviously, in Steam Fest in Europe.
It sounded like you said April. Maybe I'm just hearing things. When you were talking about the Austin meetup. When is that one again?
Heard it correctly, main event. That is April 10th through the 14th, 2019.
Okay, perfect. All right. Cool. Well, that's lots of time to plan then.
Can I stay with you, Maine, in
Sure.
In your house or something?
I'm nowhere near Austin though, so we'd have to still get there. But if you make it to New England here, then yes, we can try to get you to Texas.
Far, man. I mean, like Toronto, that's like a couple tanks of gas, or literally a 45-minute flight to Toronto. So
yeah, Toronto would actually be closer. Yes, yeah.
I want that glass of wine.
Darling. I was actually in your neck of the woods in November playing a tournament. I was playing the Holland Poker Championships just in November of last year. So I love your neck of the woods. Absolutely. It's the greatest. It was a little bit cool, but everyone is so hospitable and absolutely so wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe if you go to a contest or was it a poker game? Again, we should do a meetup with some Dutch people. And Johnny, you should take Johnny with you.
Johnny's fantastic. Bit of a recluse. Some would say an introvert. On film, he's fantastic, but in real life, I'd probably choose a warm glass of water. I mean, to be quite honest with you.
So while you're here on the show, do you have any specific things that you want to mention or talk about, outside or beyond just the Steem meetups that you're planning? Do you have any other projects or blog posts or content or anything you want to talk about, as well as some shout outs?
Yeah, so, well, thank you for, once again, Poetic Snake, for giving us this platform. I wish you, it's wonderful what you're doing for the Steem community. I applaud you for that, so thank you. In all seriousness, we are actually building a studio here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's absolutely gorgeous today. It's about 83 degrees, a little bit breezy, and all sunny. So if you are ever in the neighborhood, please contact us. My email is ij@steemcreators.com or steemcafe@steemcafe. Find me on Discord. And we have an open invitation to all creators. The name of our organization and group is called Steem Creators. We've developed it just for you, that you can come learn the tips and tricks from us, and at no cost, you can actually use our studios. We have green screens, we have great lighting rigs, we have a studio, and we invite other Steem creators if we can help and facilitate you to improve your content, improve your engagement, increase your followers, your upvotes, and your re-steams. We're here for that. Because just like you with your show, we're here for the Steem community. So we'd like to talk about that, give an open invitation. If you guys are cool, if you're not completely lame or bags, but yeah, you're absolutely welcome to use our studios in a collaborative fashion. And secondly, the most important message really is, I can't say this enough, in the infancy of Steem, and we can do so much more when we work together as a great, not just a community, not just as a team, but as a family, limit and past the sky. So I want to extend our deepest gratitude, everyone here at Steem Creator, for making this all possible. From others out there, all the great app developers, all the great content creators out there. My hat's off to you. You have been so generous with your time here at Steem Creators, at Steem Cafe. It's almost the fact that I'm almost embarrassed by the riches of love from this community. So thank you to everyone out there.
Yeah, and I would second that too. All the Steem witnesses out there, all the developers, all the people doing all that work behind the scenes, community leaders, people who are creating these Discord communities. There's so much going on and so many moving pieces to make this all work. And, we're just happy to be along for the ride here and to experience this all together, because it's quite a wild ride.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people witnessed the birth of the internet, and a lot of people got involved in it, but a lot of people didn't. It had to make sense for them. I don't know if we're dating anyone out there. If any of you are familiar with AOL or CompuServe, I don't know if you guys are familiar with GopherNet or even Alta Vista. Anybody out there about that? So when those things came out, those were the introductions of the internet, but it did take time. About this technology is that there's so many resources, so many brilliant teams, young gentlemen, young women out there who are developing great alternatives out there, the birthing of it. And we're literally seeing something that's, and Netscape, of course. Geez, big shout out to the crews at Netscape. Oh my gosh, now we're dating ourselves.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, and I think when we look back at this, not currencies of seasons or months or literally 8 months ago, when we take our time, how we're doing, we need obviously our point of view of the present and then perspective to look back at things. We will look at these times as some of the funnest, greatest opportunities to express ourselves and be compensated for our energies. So yeah, no, I can't wait to see where we'll be in 60 months, 10 years, and if you believe it, maybe 20 years. Some of the faces, some of the people that we're seeing, talking to right now, that we're engaging with right now, they'll be making movies of them. That's a guarantee, because it's going to be crazy. We're talking literally, you can develop a product with a small group of people and walk away with 9 digits, 10 digits. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Right, and of course we remind everybody everything's just our opinions here, and every person's going to have a different experience here. Some people might not earn anything, and some people might do well. It's going to depend on your effort and what you're doing here, and just, the experience that you create for yourself here. It's really going to depend on what happens with that. But, just again, just put that out there. We, of course, can't guarantee anything here. So any more questions here for our guest? If anybody in the audience chat has any questions for Steem Cafe, certainly let us know. Of course, Snekky, if you have questions at all, you can always chime in too. Let's see here.
What are you? Are you a Merlot girl? What are you? Sauvignon Blanc? What kind of wine do you throw back in gorgeous Western Europe?
Snekky, are you
Who,
still
me?
here? Yes.
What kind of wine I drink?
Yeah.
I don't drink alcohol at all, honestly.
Okay, well then you tell me what soda pop or juice, and I'll have several bottles waiting for you here in Las Vegas. Okay, I'll always have a couple bottles of orange juice chilling for you.
I prefer milk. I have milk and apples.
Okay.
She loves apples, that's for sure.
I probably don't have any lobster hanging around, but I'll look if we have some langostinos, some crawdads for you. How's that sound if you ever come visit us in Vegas?
As long as we bring her apples, and what else would you need, Snekky, besides apples?
Cookies.
Cookies? Okay, yeah. Food, basically.
All right,
we need food.
I don't know. I may have extended myself a little too much. You may break the bank on me, darling. So I better start saving up my Steem right now for you.
Oh, I like that.
So I got the Bug IQ asking about a box of wine. Do I prefer? I mean, I'll have to go with the granddaddy. That's Franzia. Big shout out to Franzia, the #1 selling wine by volume in the entire world. Yeah, I drink wine out of a box, and it comes in a bladder too. I don't know if you're aware of that. That's not too many people know that. So, when did you start this? And what got the hair on your ass to the microphone?
To do this show specifically, you mean?
Yes.
Well, we started this last summer when this radio station, MSPWaves, was first created. So when I heard about it being created, and I had worked in radio for many years and as a wedding DJ and a club DJ, so it was natural to me to want to do a show here on a radio station that was based on the Steem blockchain. So it was just kind of a natural transition, and I wanted to learn more about the different people here on the platform, so I figured, why not? We'll do an interview show. And it's kind of evolved. I mean, we do interviews, of course, and we kind of try to talk about current topics around the Steem blockchain and things like that. But yeah, no, that's kind of where it got started, and it's certainly been a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man. So I'm going to put a bounty. Can I do a bounty contest right now? Is that all right? Poetic Snake and main event?
I don't know what that means exactly. So...
What I want to do is I will offer 10 Steem, right? Or maybe 13 SBD. I don't know what the math is. But if anybody has a video of main event doing the chicken dance, I will pay handsomely for that.
No, unfortunately, there's none of those. No, unfortunately. Luckily, when I do those the line dance things, I don't have to actually do it. Everybody else does it.
There's got to be a young main event just cutting the rug. Like I'm paying. My money is on the barrelhead. Someone come collect that. We're going to post that video of you main event rocking and rolling.
That's funny.
Maybe even the Macarena?
That one might be around. I don't know. We'll have to see. But
Oh, my Lord.
And what's amazing, thank you, Johnny Clearwater. He said he's in for the till too. The thing, any great video of really main event just destroying the dance floor.
That's funny.
Let's get this going.
But it's not about me. We're here to learn about Steem Cafe today. So let's kind of steer the conversation back towards there. So we've only got about 15 minutes or so left here of the show. So Steem Cafe, are there other things that you want to mention while you're here? I mean, I always want to try to make sure everybody has a chance to, talk about any projects you're working on or just certain, things that you want to mention while you're here.
So always smash, crush, destroy, kick that can down the river. Please follow us at Steem Cafe, at OGC, at Larry Morris, and that will give you an idea of what kind of people we are, what kind of events we have planned. Like I said, our giant event is coming up in Toronto, September 6th through the 10th. Flying out there to in 3 days to scope out. We're actually doing a couple concerts that are Steem produced. So even if you'll actually have the ability to meet, mingle, and learn from some of the best creators in the entire Steem creators. I applaud you to do that. And then we also have great evening after hours events where you can once again really share your love with other people. I know it seems that so many people have a reputation of this and some people have a reputation of that. Some people have this amount of Steem, some people have this amount of Steem power. But know that every person that ever signed up, they all started with a 25 reputation. They all started, even for maybe one of the briefest of moments, they all had 0 followers. So we've been on that same boat. You can literally learn best creators out there at the Steem Creators Conference. That's September 6th through the 10th. Thank you once again, Main Event, for doing that. And also, if you do have the opportunity to meet other Steem people in a casual, great environment, just like we had, big shout out to Johnny Clearer, big shout out to Instructor 2121 facilitating that in right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. Please do that. And if there's not one around you, you should throw it up. And if you need advice, message me. It's just IJ at Steem Creators. We'll be more than willing to go over some of the ropes for you, help you fulfill really what could be a seminal time in the internet on the birthing of blockchain.
I changed my mind about staying with you, man. I'm going to stay with the Buckeye Q. He's only an hour of Toronto.
I see how it is. Maybe I need a new co-host. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Oh my Lord!
I'm just kidding.
Zero the night, guys. www.steemcreators.com. That gives you an idea of what our last event here was in Las Vegas. Thank you so much. It's at Steem Creators, but our website is www.steemcreators, just like you spelled it, .com. And we're going to be updating that because when we're signing the venue this weekend, it promises to be a really, really amazing event. We don't want to go into all the people that are lined up, but I can guarantee you the keynote speakers are people that you see either in trending or actually being able to people that facilitate the trending, aka some of the biggest, brightest stars in the Steem universe. So I applaud you guys to come out there. And you're right, that is Amelia Bartlett in that photo. Yeah, so she was out there, got to meet her lovely, lovely boyfriend, Ahmed. So yeah, it was a great, great time. Shout out to Johnny Clearwater. Shout out to Instructor 2121 for facilitating all that. It was an amazing experience.
It certainly sounds like it was. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. And what's the link to your Steem Creators site one more time? Because you kind of cut out a little bit when you were saying it.
Sure, it's www.steemcreators.com. And you can follow me at, that's STEEMCAFE. That is our channel at Steem Cafe. So, thank you so much, Poetic Say. You are lovely. Yeah. And if you have any questions, just give those wwws. Just email me at ij@steemcreators.com. If we can assist, help you further your education, or actually just give you a little bit of a push, or some of you need a kick in the pants. We only started shooting video on January the 4th, and because of Steem, I'm traveling to over 19 countries this year. I go to Toronto this weekend. I'm going to Russia. We're doing a 3-city tour in Russia in 2.5 weeks. And then we're going throughout all of North and South America in the summertime. So, and it's all because of really blockchain. So big shout out to all the support. Thank you, thank you. And if I can assist in anyone's in their career, or if you have any particular questions about producing events, and then I'm gonna give you some specific information right now. Know that Johnny Clearwater, it's at JONNY-Clearwater. He's in the chat right now. He's an active member in this community. He's doing things that are absolutely amazing. Development, but the delivering of the content and how to get that message out. He's literally one of the very, very few people who are doing it. If you have questions, that is a person that you should build a relationship or direct questions to, because he is literally facilitating not just in content, but the execution of the release of content. He's an absolute resource. He's very generous with his time. So please, please, please contact him as well.
Agreed. We've had the privilege of chatting with Johnny many times here on the show, and we certainly appreciate him helping us get these wonderful guests here on the show tonight. So yes, shout out to Johnny Clearwater. And yeah, we're going to have to check out some of these Steem meetups that are coming up, and certainly really cool that you guys are doing that and that you're sharing the message all around the world about this blockchain. And we certainly appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Snekky, do you have anything you want to add?
Flat Earth.
We have 10 minutes left of the show.
Let's address this, because I know there's been quite a bit of information going about if the Earth is spherical, globe, or round shape. And know that this is a running joke between me and Johnny Clearwater. It's become a point of teasing with us, and some people wish to engage me, ask me if I believe in what evidence. I am not one of conflict, right? This literally became a joke of just two really good gentlemen teasing each other. And I am very, very surprised. I'm very, very surprised how this has become a quote unquote ongoing thing that's actually got a bunch of legs. So that really gives you an idea of the strength of Johnny Clearwater's message and iMessage, that we can start talking about certain subject matters and give it legs. I don't know if anyone knows this, but Johnny and I, we've done quite a bit of research about Abraham Lincoln and his participation on pirate raids on the Commonwealth. Not too many people know that. Literally, one of the gentlemen who is seminal of equality for all peoples was also a pirate raider. You don't see that on Disney. You don't see that on Pirates of the Caribbean, but let it be known now that this is a message that me and Johnny would wish to extend to everyone out there, that not only throw down a bottle of rum anytime he wanted to. I mean, if you had gold bullion shipping back to Spain, you better look out.
That's funny. Well, this has certainly been a fun conversation. It's certainly been really cool learning more about you, Steem Cafe, and we will certainly chat more in the future here. And we will certainly check out your blog and the Steem Creators website that you've shared with us here. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today.
Snekky, all joking aside, main event, thank you very, very much for the opportunity to engage with you, have a great conversation. I'm almost incredibly flattered to be a part of it. And I believe in what you're doing, and I applaud you for that. We need more people like you. We need more people like Johnny Clearwater. Not so many, we don't really need that many people producing what Freedom Point's doing, but I can see how his message is appealing to some people. But yeah, really, thank you so much for this opportunity. And blessings of the universe, my friends, and all Steem users.
Snekky, any final thoughts there?
I'm scared. No, just I want to say thank you for being with us on the show. Absolutely love how passionate you talk, and I'm looking forward to learn more and more about everything that you do as well. So I gave you a follow, and now you have an exciting stalker.
Well, darling, whenever you get off that plane and you're in the western states of the United States, know I'll be there with bells on with as much milk, any kind you want, 2% whole, I don't care. All the kinds of apples and a bunch of chocolate for you waiting for you, darling. How's that sound?
Oh, you got yourself a deal.
I love it. Main event, like I said, I'll set aside a slow dance for you, maybe the Macarena.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Take care.
All right, everybody. So that was our interview tonight with Steem Cafe. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And I got myself a good deal, man. Milk and cookies and I'm so excited.
Whew, what a wonderful show. We had 3 great interviews tonight with 3 Steemians. And again, of course, shout out again to Johnny Clearwater for lining that up for us. It was out of nowhere. We actually were supposed to have 3 other guests on the show, but unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, they could not be here this week. They'll be here on a future episode, but it worked out that Johnny contacted us. He said, hey, I've got these great folks to share with you, and it worked out great. So it was wonderful to chat with all of them today.
Absolutely. So yes, a big thank you to Johnny. Johnny, I'm still looking at that amazing coin, by the way. So excited. Are you still a little bit jealous, man?
Yes, I am. I just said that. I need one of those Steam rounds. I don't know why I didn't buy one, but whatever. My mistake. All right, everybody. Well, let's take a quick moment while we still have a few more minutes here. We are running out of time. We're going to only be here for a few more minutes, but give us a quick, let us know what country you are listening in right now. Type that into the chat real quick if you don't mind, and let us know what country you're listening in. I see, I'll just run down the list here. I see Activist Blog, Freedom Point, Grayland's out there, Johnny Clearwater, M1, Maverick, Menno, Normok, Audra, Pensive. You want to do a few? I see Ron.
Oh yes, sorry. Yes, I was waiting for the countries to come. I see Soundwaves, Photons, Space Days. The fake news continues. The serene night god. Puppy. Oh, Stace. Oh my god.
And Yidneth and Bug IQ.
Yes, and I see a main event somewhere.
And we have Spain listening, the USA, a bunch of people listening from the USA. Let's see. We've got some mystical random places that people are creating. It's just always kind of cool to see where people are listening, you know, in the different countries. I'm sure some people are also listening on MSPWaves.com, and they're not in the chat here with us. But if after the fact you're going to listen to the recording of the show and you're on one of the show posts, certainly leave a comment. We always appreciate feedback about the show. I will be sharing the recording right after the show tonight, so coming up shortly. So if you want to support the show, Poetic Snake and I both will do different posts about the show throughout the week, and so you can certainly support those with your votes, your re-steams, your feedback. We always really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Of course, everything you heard on this show tonight is strictly just our opinions. This is all just for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial experts of any kind, and this is not financial advice. And, of course, MSPWaves Radio and its owners take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by us, the show hosts, or our guests. Statements and show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of the radio station, and the material you hear on the Re-Steam Radio Show is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only.
Always do your own research.
That's right.
Yep.
So, any final words here, Snekky? Because we are running out of time. We got about 2 minutes left.
Final words sound so scary. Yeah, I want to say thank you to all the amazing guests we had this evening. And thank you for the audience for always supporting us. Thank you, Main Event, for talking so much. And yeah, I hope everybody will be back next week.
Yes, thank you to all the people in the live audience who joined us tonight. And yes, again, thank you to our guests. If you're interested in being a guest on the show sometime, certainly send myself, Main Event, or Poetic Snake messages on Discord, and we will try to have you on the show sometime so you could tell us your Steam story. We are here live on MSPWaves Radio from 10 to midnight UTC time on Wednesday nights. So you'll have to check the conversion as to what time that is in your time zone, but it's 10 to midnight UTC time. And again, you can find out all about all of the different radio shows on MSPWaves.com. Of course, MSPWaves Radio, part of the Minnow Support Project, which is also, in my opinion, a great community for people to join if you're looking to network and talk with different people on the Steem blockchain. You can find them on Discord under the Peace, Abundance, and Liberty server. And again, that's the Ma1ne Support project. You can find it on Steemit at Ma1ne Support. And again, myself, I go by the username Main Event. It's just spelled, again, with the little number 1 in there, and she is Poetic Snake. Snekky, if you want to share our blog links in the chat, feel free.
Just did that. Why do you have a poopy face?
I'm sorry?
There's a poopy face on your link.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. That's kind of random.
Looks kind of cute.
I don't think that's my blog link, but or the one picture that's on my blog. But anyway. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're going to say so long for this week. This is the Steem Radio Show on MSPWaves, signing off. Have a great week, everybody.